Good morning, everybody. Hello, I'm Carolyn. I am a personal trainer and a cancer exercise specialist. I am the ambassador for Southwark 5K Your Way, which is in central London, and I'm a breast cancer survivor.
And I'm Rosie Sadler, and I'm one of the ambassadors for Brighton and Hove 5K Your Way, along with the other ambassador, Jeremy. And I am also a CAM Rehab instructor and work on a programme across Sussex called Brighter Outlook, which is part of the Albion and Community's cancer rehab programme.
So we have an update for you from HQ, from 5K Your Way's headquarters. Thank you, Georgie, for this. And the exciting thing, and actually why there might not, I think, be many people joining us absolutely right now, is that we hope Parkrun will start again in England on Saturday the 5th of June. Everything is crossed. Obviously this might not happen, but what we are working towards, hopefully, is that we'll start preparing to relaunch 5K Your Way. And if Parkrun does start on Saturday the 5th of June, we're hoping that our first returns to 5K Your Way would be on Saturday, June the 26th. So lock it in your diaries, please, lovely people. Brilliant if we can start on that day, because that will be this charity's 3rd birthday. So double cake after. If in the meantime, before we restart, lots of other things that we can be doing as preparation. And one of the things that Rosie and I are going to do this morning is think about how we're using our indoor exercise as preparation to getting back to Parkrun. So at the moment, we've got a brackets not 5K Your Way based on the not Parkrun. Could do that. There is both a walking and a running 5K Your Way couch to 5K program. You can find it all online. And if my maths is right, if we started that this weekend, it would broadly, I haven't counted the weeks exactly, but more or less it would take us to the end of June for the big coming out day. And then also on the move, there are loads of Move Your Way sessions on the website and the charity's YouTube channel. So loads to keep us busy, people. It's not moving about, but I have to say, this is off script. I think 5K Your Way have been brilliant through lockdown, because it's a little charity, but all the things that have been done. And there are some workshops that have been run. Again, they're available online, so you can catch up with them. There was one on cancer-related fatigue, one on goal setting, and there was one on exercising during chemo. Dead helpful. The next one will be on Wednesday the 14th of April, and it's one on prehab for cancer and about using exercise immediately after diagnosis and before treatment starts. And again, dead helpful. If you can do it, it just helps you right along the rest of your cancer journey, as we call it. There are a few places left for the virtual London Marathon. Normally the marathon would be in the spring. This year, again, it's in the autumn. Sunday, the 3rd of October. If anybody would like to do it, it will not be a race where you go to the start line and run with 40,000 other people. This is a virtual one that you do. You have a 24-hour period to cover 26.2 miles, however you choose. The charity have some places. There is some fundraising that we'd ask you to do, but as much as anything, I think there might be something really lovely about doing this year's London Marathon, because it will be special, because presumably, hopefully, we go back to run it in real life next year. So if you would like them, it's first come, first served, but let us know. And then finally, we have some birthdays. I feel like the lady that links children's telly programmes now. Happy 2nd birthday to Wallace Park in Lisbon, Northern Ireland, to Bath Skyline, to Great Denham Parkrun in Bedford, to Bicester Parkrun, to Lee on the Solent, pardon me, to New Earswick. I hope I've said that right, because I am a Yorkshire lass. New Earswick in York, and to Poolsbrook Parkrun in Chesterfield. Happy birthday. Sorry we're not in real life, but enjoy your birthdays.
Happy birthday.
Okay, Rosie, over to you.
Awesome. There's so much going on, so much to kind of get involved with, and exactly what you said. I think the 5K Your Way charity and team have done so amazingly during this time to kind of put so much on, haven't they? It's been great.
Yeah.
So as Carolyn said, we're going to do some kind of the session today is focused on building up your strength and fitness for walking and running and jogging ahead of 5K Your Way starting back again. So just to kind of go through some safety pointers before we do start. Carolyn and I are both cancer rehab instructors, but although the session is designed by us for you guys, it's not designed for anybody in particular or any specific health conditions or cancer diagnosis or kind of health status or level. So please do take part at your own level and in a way that's appropriate for you. Take breaks if you need to. If anything hurts, just stop. Nothing should be painful. And then if there's anything you're uncomfortable with, just miss that one out and join back in when you feel ready. So be mindful that you are taking part at your own risk, but we will be doing a seated option and also a standing option. There'll be lots of different levels or kind of alternatives that you can take part in, so choose which is best for you. And you will need either tins or light weights or anything, water bottles, or you don't have to use any at all. But if you do have some of those to hand, we'll be using that. If you want to use a chair for the seated option, grab a chair. Make sure you've got enough space, a clear space with nothing that you're going to hit or knock over, and that you've got water to hand. Keep hydrated throughout. If you want to pop some music on, please do, have a bit of fun. And we're going to go through each of the exercises for about 40 seconds, and then we'll give about 20-ish second rest, where we'll explain the next exercise. So just follow along with us and have fun. And if you want to repeat any of the exercises of the session, we do recommend that, because we'll be doing each exercise just once through. But then if you want to, at the end of the cardio section, want to repeat that and do each exercise a second time round, and the same for the strength section, that is recommended. And if you can do this session, at least once a week or more than that, that's brilliant, and it will help you to be as prepared for the 5K Your Way as possible. Cool, should we get started?
Yep.
Brilliant. So, my chair's this slide for now. My glasses on. So, lovely. Let's get started then. So, just on the spot or in your chair, we're just marching. Nice and steady, nice gentle march to begin with, just starting to warm us up. Good. Taking it at your own pace. Slow it down if you need. Good. And Carolyn's doing the same, but just seated. Good. Swinging your arms. I want to make sure that we're standing up or sitting up nice and tall, shoulders back and down, engaging your core muscles so you're standing tall. Good. And then you can start to just increase the height of your knees or speed up the march, but we're still nice and gentle. This is the warm-up. Good. Okay, nice deep breaths. You should start to feel your heart rate and your breathing rate gradually increase here. So we just want to keep taking in as much oxygen as possible. Nice deep breath. Lovely. Okay, we're going to move on to a hamstring curl now. So we're going to warm up the backs of our legs. So we're just stepping and kicking up behind you. So your heel is aiming to get towards your bottom or as close to as possible. And then, Carolyn, do you want to explain what you're doing on the chair?
I'm attempting to do exactly the same as Rosie, but seated. So if you think the muscles here, the action of bending the knee, bringing the heel towards the bum is one way of warming them up. So it's a little bit for the knees as well, but we are gently pulling the heel up towards the bum, but using the chair for support still.
Yeah. And if you want to do this holding onto the back of a chair or onto a support, that's fine as well. Good. Or if your arms are free, just keep your arms moving as well. Good. A couple more here. And back to the centre. Good. My mat's going all wobbly. Lovely. Right, we're going to warm up some of our upper body now. So we're going to do some shoulder rolls here. So nice, smooth shoulder rolls. So squeezing our shoulders up to our ears and then dropping them down behind us. Nice and smooth. Good. Still standing up and sitting up tall. Good. Nice deep breath. And then should go the other way, forward circles. I was finding this way a little bit weird. Definitely more coordinated the other way. Good.
I think stuff like this is really important at the moment, though, because so many people are spending much more time looking at devices. Hunched, you know, so things that move the shoulder, that move the whole shoulder girdle, just are only ever going to help.
Definitely. Feels so nice, as you say, when you kind of open up the chest, if you've been sat down all day, and the chest feels amazing, doesn't it? Lovely. So if you're able to, we're going to just increase the size of the circle now and introduce our whole arms, or you can just do shoulders like Carolyn's doing, or using the whole of your arm just to increase that circle. So opening up the chest, nice and slow and controlled. Nice. Yeah, these warm-up exercises are good, just as Carolyn said, if you're kind of sitting down for a long period of time, just doing a few of these exercises just to loosen you up and keep you strong and mobile. Good. And we'll just do a few the other way. Forward circles. So this shouldn't be painful. So if it is, just kind of ease off a bit, either go to the shoulder, to the elbow circles that Carolyn's doing. Shoulder rolls that we do before. Good. Couple more here. And arms down. Good. Okay, next one we're going to do is some neck turns. Just make sure our neck is nice and warm. So we're going to just look to the right and then look to the left. So keeping it moving, right, then left. Good. Keep the range of motion smaller to begin with if you need to, and then ease into it as you're feeling a bit warmer. Brilliant. Good. Nice and controlled. Again, this shouldn't be painful. Should feel a nice kind of stretch as you're looking to the side, up the side of your neck. Good. One more, one on each side. And then should we do a few just nodding forwards and backwards. So just chin to chest, feel the stretch in the back of your neck, and then looking up, not all the way back, so you're not pinching the back of your neck, but just looking up to the ceiling, and then nodding back down again. So again, nice and slow and controlled. Lovely. Cool. Okay, and then last but not least, make sure our ankles are nice and warm, ready for our running and walking. So we're just going to do ankle rotations. You can keep your foot on the floor. You're standing for balance, or you can hold on to something. And then if you're seated, as you can see, Carolyn's extending her leg out and rotating it in front of her. Good. Lovely. Rotating it both directions. Make sure you really flex your foot up, point your foot down. Really get those kind of all the bones and the ligaments and everything nice and warm and supple. Really important, especially to warm up our it's important to warm up all of our body, but especially those ankles and for running. So make sure swap sides if you haven't already. Holding onto my imaginary wall here. It does help. Like the standing and balancing with holding your nose. It's like how that helps, I don't know, but it does.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know why. It doesn't work for everybody, but if you
Wow.
put your finger on your nose, isn't it? Magic. Good. Make sure you've rotated your ankle both directions and pop your feet back down on the ground. Lovely. Give yourselves a bit of a shake. If there's anything else you need to keep moving just to warm up a bit more, please do. But hopefully we're feeling a bit warmer now and we're ready to go into our first section, which is the cardio section. So I'm going to just grab my chair. Okay.
So lovely people, we've got 7 different moves and we're going, oh, we've lost Rosie. We've got 7 moves.
My camera's done off.
What we're hoping, it's all right, we'll keep moving, Rosie, don't worry. What we hope this is going to give us is 7 minutes of elevated heart rate and just getting a little bit out of puff. So Rosie's got a really modern timer, right? But I am using old school and I'm using a watch. And we're going to start going back to a march. Do this for 40 seconds. And then we've got a little bit of a lull while we just move on to the next thing. Although there's going to be a bit of, it should flow quite steadily. So I am marching on the spot. I'm holding my belly muscles. Standing tall, I'm trying to bring my shoulders back, allowing the chest to be wide, gives your lungs more space to open and close. So back to a relatively lively march for me. And Rosie is doing the same, but seated.
Still sitting up nice and tall. Still swinging the arms.
Nice work. And see, we've gone through our first 40 seconds again. So already rather. So for the next one, it's virtually the same. Important that you work at whatever level feels right for you for today. So your call. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this march for 40 seconds bigger. So purposefully, knees come higher, elbows come higher. I'm swinging the arms a little bit more, so I'm bringing them back more. And just that little adaptation takes I can feel my breathing's getting a little deeper. Bring the heart rate up.
And when you're seated, bringing those knees up a little bit higher than you were before, engages your core a little bit more and your hip flexors. So keep them low if you need, but if you can, see if you can lift those knees up a bit higher.
And again, see, 40 seconds gone. We're doing well. So next up, I'm going to take it one level further. And I'm going to jog on the spot. We know everybody does park. You know, the whole point is we do park run our way. So we know we've got some runners, some joggers in the 5K family, 5K away family. Most of the Southern people beat me. They run way faster than I can, but there you go. I hold my pride. I hold my head up high anyway. That's fine.
The joining in, it's walking, running, jogging. And
it's not a race, yes, I know.
My heart rate's up as well. I'm moving my feet a little bit more as if I'm jogging, just make it a little bit more dynamic. Slow it down if you need, but you'll definitely feel your heart rate rising.
And again, we have done 40 seconds of that. Let's move the chair a minute. So I'm going to start moving sideways. And I'm going to do 40 seconds. I've only got as much space as you see on the camera, by the way, people. Here's my bathroom. And quite dangerously, really, here's the top of my stairs. So I'm going to...
You don't drop off the edge.
So I'm stepping side to side. I think I might bring my arms in too. One of the, there's a benefit of moving side to side and backwards actually as adults, because we don't tend to do it much. You know, kids run around and play around and stuff, but as grown-ups, we tend to only move forwards, and we can improve our strength and our balance simply by starting to move side to side more. Okay.
And I'm just doing the same movement, but just holding onto a chair or a support if you've got a worktop near you or a table. Just doing that, slow it down if you need, or you can just do side steps still seated on the chair.
So that's another 40 seconds done. See, we're going well. We're now going to add in a squat here. So I'm going to go step, step, and then I'm going to squat. Okay.
And I'm doing the same, but not necessarily squatting all the way down. So whatever you feel most comfortable with. So just a small bend towards a squat, still holding on, keeping your back up straight. Good.
Now, if you want to make this bouncier, this can be a little run. And actually, it could be try not to fall downstairs, clearly, but we can make this into a little bit more of a, what do you call it, cancer? Just to get a little bit more movement. That's 4 done. It's 5 actually. 5. Okay, we've got 2 more. I'm going to come forward and I'm going to punch. Okay. So what I'm doing is with each step throwing a punch. Okay. Don't know how many of you do boxing. It's fab. It's really good. Isn't it? Really good for stress management. Really good for your coordination, hand-eye coordination. Really good cardio. And I don't know if you find it, Rosie, when I box with a client, it makes them laugh.
So many people like they've maybe not tried it before, but they give it a go and it's just like, oh, this is so good. Why have I not done this before? Yeah.
And there are some cautions, you know, if we're having to be careful of our bones, we can shadow box like this, but maybe not actually hit each other. Pick line, you could be a little bit careful with. Lymphedema, you start light, but work up. I'm back to boxing and I've got away with it so far, but I started very light and went back up gently. Okay. Yeah. Are you happy with your seated punches, Rosie?
Yeah, so I'm just seated on the chair still, marching and punching at the same time. It's a bit of a coordination one as well. Not sure my hands were in time with my legs, but it's just about moving both parts of your body and giving it a good go.
No wrong answers. Punching your way. Right, last one, team. And this is doing, cut the fast feet. Everything's going to jiggle. That's fine. All sorts of things are going to wobble. But what we're doing is trying to bring the knees, I don't know, halfway. I wouldn't go mad. But we're trying to increase our cadence. So fast as we can. Da, 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 da.
Again, this is going to get your heart rate up, and it's almost like that when you finish that last bit of the 5K you're weighing on the park run, and you just like get across the line. It's that last final push.
Yeah, finish line. And we're nearly. That's it. Nice work.
And recover. Brilliant. That was great, Carolyn. Such a good way to kind of get your heart rate up, get everything moving. And those different directions, as Carolyn said, really important to warm up and practice for running as well. So we're going to go on to a strength section now. Carolyn's seated. I'll be doing the standing option. So we will need some tins or light weights for this section. I've just got some chopped tomatoes and peeled tomatoes. Carolyn, are you using weights, Carolyn? Or
you know what? I've got all sorts of manner of things here, actually. Yeah, I've got some little weights.
Brilliant.
And actually, although we didn't plan this, I also used resistance bands a little bit, so a lot actually. So
whatever you've got near you, whatever you've got to hand.
Yeah, but the point is, what exactly as Rosie said, whatever you've got that will just add a little bit of weight when you move your limbs can only help with our strength. Just one point in terms of what I'm doing is deliberately I've put my chair against the wall so it can't roll off for this bit. This doesn't work on an office chair.
Right, okay, so no rest for the legs, unfortunately. We're going to go straight into some squats or sit to stands. So feet hip width apart, standing up nice and tall, toes pointing forward, and then when we squat, we're going to lean back onto our heels. Bottom is going back as far as it can. We bend down just to the point that you feel comfortable with. Doesn't have to go all the way down, and then we're going to drive up through our heels, squeeze your bottom, squeeze your thighs, squeeze everything to stand back up again. Okay, we're going to do 40 seconds here. I'm just going to press play on the timer and off we go. Nice and controlled. And then when we extend up again, we're going to exhale, which is just going to really help to drive you up. Good, nice and controlled. And then Carolyn, do you want to explain your seated option?
I'm doing very much what Rosie is, but I'm letting a chair take my weight for the lowest bit. So again, my feet are hip width. I don't know if you can see deliberately here, I've got them away, far enough away from the chair that my knees are at a 90-degree angle. It's not helpful to really tuck them under.
Good, and that's 40 seconds done already.
Well,
time flies, doesn't it? So next one, we're going to grab our tins or weights or resistance bands, whatever it is you have. We're going to do a shoulder press. So hands are starting here, elbows raised, and we're going to just extend our arms up into the air and lower back down again. So exactly the same if you're on the chair. Good. Relaxing your shoulders away from your ears so they're not hunched up here. Good. Extend up and lower down. So this is working our shoulder muscles. Good. We're giving our legs a bit of rest here. So it is still really important, even if you're training just for running and walking, that you focus as much attention on your upper body as well to keep you strong. Surprising, you still use your arms and your shoulders and your chest and your back and your core when you're running. So don't forget those. Good, and relax down. Time's flying with the 40 seconds, isn't it?
It does.
Right, next one, we've got lunges. So holding on to something if you need, onto the back of a chair, onto a work surface, anything. We're just gonna step back and then lunge and then bring our feet together again. We're just gonna do alternate sides. So we're just making sure that we've got a nice right angle, so you're stepping back far enough, a right angle, and then standing back up and switching sides. Good. Wonderful. Keep breathing, keep that chest up. Imagine your body is just dropping down the center. So we're not leaning forward or leaning back or anything, it's just dropping right down the center.
Now I've come out of the chair for this one deliberately. I'm using the chair to support my, I don't know if you can see, I'm not bending my knees as sharply as Rosie is, but this is a really useful one to do standing if you're comfortable to, because it's so useful for the hip flexors here, quadriceps and hamstrings. It's one of those anti-sitting exercises, and it's really helpful for running strength.
Brilliant. It does. It's a killer, but it's a good one. Brilliant. Next one, we're going to do a chest press or a wall press. So I don't have a wall near me, so I can't, well, I do, but I can't get to it because the table's there. So if you've got a wall, Carolyn's going to demonstrate the wall press. If you don't, just pressing as if you've got a wall here. You can do a full press up on the floor if you wish, but this is the kind of not the easy version because it's still but it's the lower impact version and the version to build up your chest strength ahead of doing a press up under if you wish. Good, squeezing your chest together, keeping your body and your back straight if you're against the wall. Further away your legs are from the wall, the harder it is.
And also, if you leave your heels on the floor, it's really hard. Sometimes I forget to suggest this, but go onto your tippy toes. It allows you much more space to move in and out.
Yeah.
Unless you've got really flexible calf muscles, of course.
Good. One more here. Exhale and rest your arms down. Good. So that's worked our chest muscles here. Okay, next one, back to our lower body again. We're kind of alternating so we get a bit of a rest. We're going to do calf raises. So holding onto something again if you need to. I don't have anything to hand, so I'm going to use my imaginary table here. We're going to just go up onto our toes and then lower down slowly. Back up onto our toes. So squeezing these big calf muscles here and then lowering down slowly. And it's the same pretty much on the chair, isn't it?
It is. It's just, again, you know, most of my body weight is supported by the chair, but what I'm doing is I'm really scrunching up the muscles behind my shins now and then letting them stretch out again as my heels come back down to the ground.
Nice and controlled.
Yeah.
Squeeze. It's almost like you're just squeezing everything up, standing as tall as you can, and then lower down. Good. I'm out of sync with my timer.
They'll forgive us, Rosie. They'll forgive us.
We've definitely done 40 seconds of that. Lovely. So another leg exercise, but this one's going to be a bit more focused on our quads and our glutes. So we're going to do a squat, but a sumo squat. So legs are, or feet are just wider than hip width apart, or a bit wider than that even. Toes are pointed to diagonal, so about 45 degrees. I'm going to do the same squat motion, so leaning back, bottom goes as back as far as it can, bend down until you feel that it's right for you, and then standing back up again. But what we're doing is focusing our knees directly over our toes, so our knees are wide, and we're just targeting a little bit of a different muscle in the glute.
And I'm doing exactly the same using the chair. I've moved my chair. Ideally, especially if you're doing this relatively quickly, again, it would be against the wall to stop it potentially rocking backwards. But I wanted you to see my posture because side on you wouldn't necessarily get it, but it's not elegant. It's really helpful.
No. Unless you kind of channel your inner ballerina.
Oh yeah, you're true, actually, yeah.
But yeah, I definitely don't feel elegant when I'm doing it. We've got 10 seconds left here, so nice and slow and controlled. We want to slow these movements down because that's really working the muscles, focusing on the form, and rest there. Brilliant. I'm going to do a couple of exercises now for our core, which, as we said, is really important. We still use our core when we're running and walking. So first one is knee to elbow. So what we're going to do is lift our knee right the way up, and if you can, get that elbow to your knee. If you can't, hands is fine. Just get that knee up, and we're going to engage our core muscles and our obliques. So off you go, 40 seconds. Lovely, nice and controlled, and it's the same seated, isn't it? Good. Squeeze. You can speed this one up if you wish. I'll just speed it up to show you. Crunch it down. Squeeze your abdominals. Good. Keeping your
If you're in a chair, which this is not particularly a lot easier, I have to say. What I'm trying to do is not lean on the back of the chair. If you need the back for support, then by all means use it. But ideally, I'm making my trunk work by holding the back long. We're not rounding and we're not arching while I move my limbs. And as much, move the limbs as much or as little as you need it to be. If it needs to be a small move, we're all good, but we're holding the back.
It's still,
yeah.
However, as long as you focus on that crunch, it's still doing really good work on your abdominals and your core. Last exercise then, another one for the core. If you are standing and are able to get down onto the floor, if you've got a mat or carpet or something that's not going to be too uncomfortable on your back, we're going to just come onto the floor slowly. If not, a chair is, Carolyn will show the chair option. So in your own time, come down onto the ground. And we're going to do another one for our core. We're going to do leg raises, but also with a kind of a V-sit, so we're engaging our core a bit more. So we're sitting up tall, feet are planted on the ground, sitting up really tall, and then just lean back very slightly so that our core is engaged. And then holding onto the floor behind you just for some support, we're going to just lift our legs off the floor slightly. Okay, so that in itself, you'll be able to feel that. And then you can just tap one foot down at a time. So I don't know if you can see my feet very well, actually. Do that, we're just tapping.
Yeah, we can see it.
Switching. Good. And then the seated option.
So the seated option, different to the last exercise, I am using the back of my chair, because what it's allowing me to do is to lean back, just like Rosie said. And even that, just you feel a little bit of tension in the belly muscles. I'm also using my fingertips on the seat of the chair to press down, and I can't tell you why, but it just gives you more of a sense of leverage. So whereas Rosie's leaving her feet in the ground, in the air rather, I'm returning mine to the floor and lifting the knees individually. Now, if you're feeling that this was a bit too tame, you could lift both knees. It asks a lot more of you, and actually positionally you need your bum a little bit further away, but you could lift both, but that's a bit of an ask. So far into all this.
Yeah, well, good. If you, whatever kind of bit of that you've tried, you should feel it in your core. It's quite a burner, isn't it? I can definitely feel that. I'm sweating here. So well done for giving that one a go. And if you've been on the floor, stand up nice and slowly. Don't want anyone getting dizzy or anything. So nice and slowly. Keep drinking. And we're going to go on to our cool down now. So I'm going to do it on the chair.
Okay. So cool down. Several similar moves to the warm up. A nice. I always use the word nice. I don't know why. I always describe a shoulder roll as nice. I think it just feels. It feels kind of, I don't know, satisfying, calming. Gets a bit of the knots out. So slow. We're bringing the heart rate down, and we're bringing the amount of movement down. Okay. And from there, we're going to bring one arm. I'm bringing my right arm across the front of my chest, and I'm bringing my left hand to the elbow and just gently easing it towards me. Feel that there. Might feel it other places actually, but that's where we're moving. Okay, and then left arm comes across the front, spare hand comes to the elbow. And seated, we're pretty similar, aren't we, Rosie?
Yes, exactly the same. Just making sure you're sitting up tall, so I'm not leaning back on my chair. Sitting up tall, so we really get that full stretch in the shoulder and back.
Okay, we're going to stretch. Okay, we're going to do a ear down to shoulder. Feel a stretch along the edge of the neck here, gently. Doesn't have to go too far.
Another nice stretch.
Cheers.
It feels so good. As we said at the start, that if you're seated for a lot of time and on our computers, like those muscles there get so tight, don't they? So.
Yeah. And actually, this is one that you definitely can do if you're at a desk. Now, watch your shoulders, because what often happens if you're tense in the neck and shoulders is that the shoulder comes up with it. So what we're trying to do purposefully is keep the shoulder still. Don't force it, but feel the stretch here. Don't let your shoulder help by raising up. Okay. I'm going to use a chair for hamstring stretch because I find it easiest to get into position with. I'm going to elevate my right foot on a chair. I'm going to stand tall and I'm going to dive my chest forward. Now I've got relatively long hamstrings, so I can do this with my knee quite straight. You might find you need to leave quite a kink in your knee, but what you should feel is it's not rounding your back, you're diving your chin and chest forward, and you should feel a stretch right up the top of the back of the leg.
And it's exactly the same seated. My heel, I know you can't see it, let's turn here. My heel is just on the floor, leg extended out straight, and then put your hands just for support on your bent leg. So we don't want to push on our straight knee, on our bent leg, and leaning again from the hips, keeping our back straight.
If you haven't already, we will change legs. So again, diving the chin and chest forward. And then we are going to stretch the glutes. Now, several ways to do this, and Rosie's going to show you one that is kindest on the knees.
So if you are seated, you can bring your knee up to your other thigh, but that, as Carolyn just said, if you do have knee problems, it can be a bit uncomfortable. So really focus, think about bringing your toes upwards to tense your shin, and that protects your knee a bit more. But if that's still a bit uncomfortable and you're unsure or uncomfortable about doing that, just bringing your knee up and holding on to it will help to stretch out that glute.
So likewise, standing, hugging one knee will give you a stretch through here. And just like Rosie's done, I'm going to hold the wall, but this is a slightly deeper stretch, providing you're comfortable that the knee on the leg you're standing on is comfortable to do this, but it gets you right there. Okay, glutes are stretched. Now, quad stretch. I'm going to do it here, standing, and I'm taking hold of the toe of my working leg, my stretching leg. Some people find it really hard to reach the toe, so you could take hold of the back of your shoe, you could take hold of your trouser leg, or standing, you could elevate it on a chair. And Miss Seated.
And then I am shuffling, so shuffle along just to the edge of your chair, but you're still sat on the chair, but kind of with one bum cheek on and one off. And then just wiggle your back foot back a little bit. Still, all your weight is on the chair, but you can get your foot back enough. Let me just turn to the side. That's better, isn't it? You get your foot back enough to feel that stretch in your quads and your hip flexor.
Okay. And then finally, our calves that do so much work for. Oh, sorry, Rosie, I went off without you there.
Just make sure we're even.
Oh, yeah. Yes, do both legs, everybody.
I think I should get slower when you switched. I didn't realise.
Oh, that's true, actually. I've just taken a big step back and pressed my back heel into the ground. My front knee's bent, but my force, if you like, is on my back heel to really press it into the ground. And you feel this here on the calf muscles, which do so much of us in terms of running and walking. There are springs, those on our ankles.
And I've done exactly the same, just holding onto the chair for support.
And then we change feet. Again, pressing that back heel down. Cool. Well done, 5K your way team. That was, the other thing that's funny, right, is that's taken us 45 minutes or so.
I know, we nearly did twice round of everything, didn't we?
No, but what I was thinking, because, you know, linking this to parkrun, is that's kind of many people's parkrun time, I guess. You know, there's a variation, obviously, but and I really wish that my time was in the 20-something minutes, but there we go, it's not.
Keep working on this, keep doing this routine, and it will be in no time.
No.
Yeah, but no, it was really well, great fun. I hope you all enjoyed it, and it's a workout that you can do at home between now and the start of park run or the start of 5k your way, to just get you as prepared as possible, keep your muscles strong, and keep you fit and moving as much as possible, really.
Yeah, keep you out of trouble on a Saturday morning.
Brilliant. I hope you all enjoyed it. Let us know how you get on, comment, and yeah, let us know how you are. Thanks, everyone.
Take care. Happy running.